Uh, I want to welcome all of you, and again to our guest tonight, the Honorable Sharman. Today is March 6th. Today is April 6th, April 6th, 2016. And my name is D. Flo Flomo, and this is LiberiaDestinyDebaters.org, the place for favor public political discourse. Our guest tonight is the veteran Liberian politician, Unity Party's National Chairman, Councillor H. Varney G. Sharman. As we always do here, I ask that we respect him. And we'll go ahead, we'll give our honorable guest 5 minutes for his opening statement. Honorable Sharman, welcome to Liberia Destiny Debaters.
Thank you very much, but I think 5 minutes is a little bit too long for me. I just want to say thank you so much for what you've been doing, and I've heard about you. We've talked before, and I'm very pleased to be on your program and to talk about Liberia, our emerging democracy. And I'd like to welcome all of the participants. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, before we go into our questions and answer question time, we'll ask the Honorable Sharman, you give us a little background by yourself, please, if you don't mind.
Well, I thought you did know about me. I'm the national chairman of the Unity Party. I was elected national chairman in 2010. Before then, I was the standard bearer of the Liberia Action Party. I contested the 2005 presidential election, and we lost to President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. In late 2008, President Sirleaf approached me and some senior members of my party for us to come into a merger with the Unity Party, and we did. We consummated the merger and had a convention in Ganta in May of 2010, and it was at that convention that I was elected as the national chairman. After that, we reorganized the political party throughout the Republic of Liberia, and then went to election in 2011 and won the presidency and Sarah seats in the legislature. I think that's about all I can say. My career really is as a professional lawyer. I'm a corporate and investment lawyer, and that's what I've been doing for most of my life. Let me say I became a lawyer in Liberia in 1980 after graduating from the Louis Arthur Grant School of Law, University of Liberia, and went to study at Harvard, did my Master's of Law degree, and went back home to Liberia, and I've been there since then.
Thank you, Councillor Sharman. Again, I would like to welcome you, and it is a pleasure to have you on tonight, Councillor. Before I go into a question, I would like to start off this program, maybe the only question from my end tonight, because we have a lot of people on the line and a lot of text messages too for you. So I have a question here, Councillor. In 2010, I met you at a program in Minnesota here, in an honorary program for you and your lovely wife of the Torah in Minneapolis by Oprah. And during that program, what I gathered from that hall was that Sirleaf was the only person who could deliver Liberia, who could bring prosperity, dignity, and prosperity to this land. Now, we are 1 year into her second term, and many Liberians are having a different feeling about Sirleaf or her administration, both in the diaspora, some in your party, and some in the opposition bloc. A few months ago, I was in Liberia, to be exact, in January, and everywhere I went, I talked with people, and some of them told me openly that Sirleaf has failed this nation. Well, Councillor, do you agree with these people, or if not, why?
First, let me make a correction. My wife's name is not Victoria. Her name is Joyce. And I don't want somebody going out there thinking that I was in Minneapolis with a lady called Victoria. My wife's name is Joyce. All right. Now, to your question, I think we have to look at President Sirleaf's administration contextually. And what do I mean by that? I want for us to first look at the first term when Liberia was coming from the brink of self-destruction. and strategically, President Salif, the government decided that the thing to do was to restore Liberia's international image, and by doing that, we also restore our relationship with the World Bank, the IMF, and some of our strategic partners. And thereafter, we attracted foreign investment into our country. And of course, you know about this peace and stability. You haven't heard a single shot from any antagonist during a civil conflict. So that's a tremendous accomplishment. The second term, we believe, is also strategically positioned to carry out institutional development within Liberia. Now, the thing is that when you have a country that has been devastated as a
Go ahead, Councillor.
All right. I'm hearing something on my telephone, that's why.
No, I was just opening the lines for people to ask questions, Councillor.
All right.
They're all mute and listening to you.
Okay. When you have a country that has been devastated like ours, once you have peace, the thing that people are concerned about first and foremost is one, jobs and money in their pockets. Unfortunately, that is very often the last thing that happens. That is the last thing that happens. We need to have economic development. We need to have investments in our country. We will have infrastructure development, get the roads back working, get the electricity back, get water system back. All of those things need to be done. But because people have not been employed as massively as they desired, because money is not going directly into the pockets of so many people, then the frustration comes in. But if you go and say, I want to find out how much infrastructure development has gone on, or how much infrastructure development is in the pipeline, you will find out that the Ellen Salif government has done tremendously, and even now. You say you are in Monrovia in January. You should go around in Monrovia, if you were there several years ago. Go back there, and you went there in January. Go and find out the new roads that have been built just within Monrovia and its immediate environs. See the many, many new buildings that are being constructed in central Monrovia and other aspects of Monrovia, in Painesville and in Brewerville area. All of those things are happening. So for people who are anxious about jobs, I understand and I empathize with them. They, of course, will say, we are not satisfied because we don't have jobs. And I can understand that. But on the overall, I think she has done quite well. And I believe these jobs, all right, these jobs and money into the pocket of the people, that will come back before the end of the term.
Thank you, Councillor Chairman. And ladies and gentlemen, those who have just joined us, this is Liberia Destiny Debaters, and with us tonight is Unity Party's National Chairman, Councillor H. Varney Sharman. And we are discussing Liberia's new democracy and the way forward to its sustainability. Please dial *61 if you have a question or to make a comment. Councillor, we're going to take our first question from caller 6727. Your name and where you calling from, caller?
Aaron Kennedy.
Welcome to Liberia Destiny Debaters, the place for stable public political discourse.
Okay, Councillor, we're very happy that you taking time out of your business schedule to come and answer our questions. We are concerned about the ovoid and covoid situation in Monrovia, which will, might take place on April 12th as a result of the people are dissatisfied for so many things going on in Liberia. Corruption, nepotism, 2.5 billion, some people having there, all this kind of thing. As a result, they want to demonstrate. And then the government is saying no. What is your view about this whole scenario? Because people say that Ellen was the one who criticized Talbot, criticized Doe, criticized Taylor. and she's doing exactly the same thing that it did. So what's your viewpoint on all of these things?
Could you tell the council, excuse me, Cora, could you tell us where you're calling from first? Your name and where you're calling from, Cora?
Worcester, Massachusetts.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor.
I hesitate to comment on the April 12th planned protest demonstration. And the reason for that, if you've been following the news in Monrovia, there are some people who have said that I am sponsoring the organizers, and which is completely untrue. That is a complete nonsense. So I hesitate to comment on that. What I would like to comment on is that, yes, the government did say that there was $2.5 million investments in Liberia. And that was perhaps $2.5 billion investment. That was perhaps a misstatement. What had happened, contracts to the value, investment contracts to the value of $2.5 billion have been signed. All right? Investment contracts to the value of $2.5 billion. But I tell you, because I was lawyers for some of these companies when I was actively practicing law. Let's take, for example, the development of the iron ore mines, or the iron ore in Putu, in Grand Juda County. First, they had not completed the exploration works. After the exploration works, there is a construction period. After the construction period, then before 1 ton of iron ore is exported. So while it may be several million, hundreds of $millions contract that was signed, the fact of the matter is that it's going to take several years, maybe beyond the term of President Salif, before a ton of iron ore will be exported. Let's go again and take the investment contract for Verolium Sign for oil palm production in Sano County and Grand Cru County. Again, one has to take into consideration that they can go and clear the land, acquire the land, clear the land, plant the oil palm, and it's going to take about 7 years after it has been planted before the first drum of oil palm will be exported or before it will even be processed. So all of these investments, you cannot expect to get returns immediately. All right? And even at this stage, the number of persons who have been employed are at the bare minimum. And when these things become successful, when they do become successful, that is when Liberia is going to receive the greatest benefit from these investments. If you take any of the oil companies, any of the contracts that we sign, all our going were exploration works. The millions and millions of dollars that are being spent by these oil companies for exploration works are spent on what? On the oil rigs. The oil rigs that they bring in, and each of them do not own the oil rig. What do they do? They rent the oil rig, lease the oil rig, to bring them into Liberia to explore for oil. So that's where the money is going. That's where the investment is going now. It's not going directly into the pockets of Liberians or into the economy of Liberia. What is going to come into the economy of Liberia is going to be 3, 4, 5 years down the line. So for one to suggest that because we have signed investment contracts to the value of $2.5 billion, it means that $2.5 billion has immediately permeated the economy, that's a wrong assumption. Are you there?
Yes, we are here, Councillor. Everyone is listening to you.
But I believe that we are going to get the benefits of these investments. Like I said, as soon as we begin to export iron ore, as soon as we begin to export the oil palm products, and as soon as we begin to export any oil from Liberia. But it is highly likely that these things will happen at the end or beyond President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's term. So really, honestly, like you say, how do we sustain democracy? We ought to be planning and looking forward to how we manage this wealth post-Ellen Sirleaf administration. That is when she leaves the scene and Liberia is getting the revenues from these investments. How is that revenue managed?
Thank you, Councillor. And I would like to say sorry for calling your wife Victoria. That was a mistake on my part. I was actually at a program with you. I have a picture with you and myself on right in my office here tonight. We take our next caller, Councillor from caller That will be caller 7241. Your name and where you calling from?
Oh, my name is William Kennedy, calling from Minnesota.
Welcome to Liberia Destiny Debaters, the place for stable public political discourse.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Honorable Chairman, for taking up your time too and being part of this forum.
Thank you too. Thank you too.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick comment before I ask a question. For some of us who were fortunate to have left Liberia and reside on this side of the earth, we follow the news every day, and we do also have family members who comes and go every day. And when you speak about early government is doing better, I think in my own personal view, only one group of Liberian people actually benefiting from the success of the Liberian government. I personally believe, and most Liberians also believe, that those who contributed to Liberia being destroyed for 14 years convinced us to vote them into offices. They are there doing the same old thing in the charter that they did. The president of Liberia, one of those who sponsored the Liberian civil conflict, later on realized that the money that she contributed towards the revolution was misused. In my own view, I don't know how you contributing money to rebel for destruction, you expect it to be used in a good faith. I don't know what she meant by good faith. But I know she's a failure, and we all pray that sooner or later we'll have big changes in Liberia. My question to you, Honorable Sharman, with all respect, what is your personal level of contribution? Like, how many Liberians have you employed personally in Liberia that you have helped with jobs, that you helping get back on their feet? I just want to know, because the last time you were in Minnesota, I attended your forum you had when you were contesting the seat for presidency. I met you at my brother's house in Brooklyn, Senator Robert Kennedy, and I kind of admire you too. But just want to know a little bit about you instead of Ellen, because president should be out of the way.
You are wondering how have I used resources to employ or assist Liberians? Is that the question?
Yes, employment or assistance.
That's what I'm saying. The gentleman still on the line?
Yes, he's on the line, but he's mute. I have to okay. Let me go
My
back to him.
Yeah, I'd like to know, because I like. Is his question, how have I used my personal resources to?
My question. Some words on the internet to the same Liberian stuff. That's why I want to make you clear the air for me, so I can be able to say what I got to say tomorrow, because I like fact. There's an article on the internet that states that you have no investment in Liberia at all, so definitely you don't have Liberia at heart. So that's what I want you to clear to me is what is on your own view, what is the level of investment you have in Liberia right now, and how much job has it created for Liberian people?
Okay. Let me talk about my personal resources. How have I used my personal resources to assist Liberians? First and foremost, if you know anything about me, you know I'm a professional lawyer. That is the career that I chose, and that is what I pursue. I have a law firm called Sharman & Sharman, and that is the only law firm in the Republic of Liberia that has its own office building. In that law firm, I employ Liberians. I'm not going to tell you what the payroll is, but we have Liberians who have been sponsored to come here to study. We have Liberians who are sponsored in Liberia. We have Liberians there who are even sponsoring at a college level. My most recent financial contribution to education is an education fund drive that I set up in Grand Cape County at the level of $5,000 United States dollars per district of Grand Cape County. That came to something like $25,000 United States dollars just last year, for which schools or students in Grand Cape County are benefiting. I'm the major benefactor of the Cape Mount University Students Association. And in addition to that, I have several other people on scholarships. So if I leave from there, if I go out to other investments, I will just tell you about the number of houses that I have constructed using my personal money, and 10 houses in Liberia, in Liberia, because one is in Cape Mount. Then I have investment in other companies. But the way I do it is that I buy the equity in the company. And my agreement with those companies is that I will be a silent. I'm not prepared now to disclose who those companies are. So when it comes to whether or not I've done something that benefits people directly from my personal resources, it has been tremendous. And it's a tremendous sacrifice. Have I answered you?
Yes, Councillor. I guess that will be it for him. So we have a lot of people on the line, Councillor. Let's take the next one. The next one will come from caller 8247. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, hi, Councillor. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How you doing?
All right. My name is Louis Camara, and I'm calling from the state of New Jersey. I've been actually a staunch supporter of the president. I've been liking her very much. But in fact, let me just go back a little bit. Even in private conversation where people try to belittle her, I stand out there for her. But recent time, there have been reports of impropriety here, there, and yonder. And today we are looking at something on the internet, even though you are not Robert Salif. But what we're looking at, it kind of it kind of scary, the kind of figure we're looking at, that the president's son has about $2.5 billion. Whether that is true or not, but it had rising. Even though you are not Robert Salif, but we just comment on this, please.
Or my friend, my fellow citizen, the person who writes that Robert Salif could possibly have $2.5 billion. $1 billion is $1,000 million. I can't understand how somebody can even imagine that Robert Salif went back to Liberia in recent years, 4 or 5 years ago, and that he will accumulate $2.5 billion, and the amount of money that is more than the 4 or 5 years of the budget of the Republic of Liberia. I just can't imagine that. So I don't know how to comment on that. That $1 billion is $1,000 million. You gotta go $100 million, 200, 500, 700, 800, 900, $1,000 million or $1 billion. Where is that money going to come from? So that's the only thing I can say about that, honestly.
Thank you.
It just blows my mind. That is just incredible.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you just joining us, this is Liberia Destiny Debaters, and our guest tonight is Unity Party's National Chairman, Councillor H. Varney Sharman. And we are discussing Liberia's new democracy and the way forward to its sustainability. If you have a question, please dial *61 for you to be recognized in our system. We're going to take our next call. The next call will come from caller 2582. Your name and where you calling from?
Yes, hi. My name is Jacamo Rick. I'm calling from the DV area. I just heard a councillor speak. I think we need to wait until this investigation can unfold. We shouldn't say that it's impossible that this guy can accumulate this amount of money, because if tracking him down is linked to the U.S. picture, that picture I gave the government agencies, FBI and whatnot, the right to go after any U.S. citizen without warrant and all this kind of stuff. So they can track you, they can tap your phone, they can do all kind of stuff. So that stuff was updated right after the 9/11. So after, saying that, if it is true, you as chairman of the MP, not MPs, but UP, will you be ready to tell your president or our president to step aside if a son is found guilty? And what I know, if it is true that the FBI is after him, they must be writing Moravia right now, telling him back to back, and make sure that he doesn't escape. So will you be ready to tell the president, Madam President, the thing is true? Can you step aside so that we don't have another chaos in Liberia? Will you do that as chairman?
If I sincerely believe that will avoid chaos in Liberia, I think I have the fortitude and the capacity to tell the president that. Don't forget, God has blessed me. I'm an independent person. I started as an independent professional, and I continue to practice law to the extent I can. If I really believe something, there is nobody in Liberia I can tell what I believe.
Thank you, Councillor.
I'm still not I'm not a government employee. I hope you know that. I serve on no government commission. What I live on and what I earn today is from my law practice and from my private investment. So I continue to be sufficiently independent that if I really believe in something, I can tell the president that.
Thank you, Councillor Sharman. And then we're going to take our next one. The next question will come from caller 1575. Your name and where you got it from? Your last number is 1575. Your name and where you got it from? Caller 15, your last digit. Your last number is 1575. That's 612-219-1575. Your name and where you got it from? Okay, we take the next one from caller 3309. Your name and where you calling from?
3309. My name is Tony Leeway.
Welcome to, Mr. Leeway, welcome to Liberia Destiny Debaters, the place for stable public political discourse.
Thank you. I thought I was going to be on the panel for a discussion so that I'll have more questions for Councillor Varney Sharman. But in as much as I'm just a caller, I will limit my questions to a few issues that have been obtaining in our country recently. I want to ask Councillor Varney Sharman as to what is his take on the rush to mortgage the resources of Liberia, which, of course, the last inauguration of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, she indicated that at least $16 billion of Liberia's natural resources has been mortgaged or otherwise contracted to foreign investors. I want to know what has been the benefit to our people who live on less than $1 a day, for which they are disgruntled and want to demonstrate in Monrovia on the 12th of April. Secondly, what is his view on these contracts that have been pretty much lopsided in the interest of investors, only for signature fees being distributed among lawmakers in the Sirleaf administration? Thirdly, what is his take on Robert Sirleaf's foundation that has been funded pretty much by investors who have come to Liberia? Some of the reports indicate that Chevron provided some $10 million as signature fee, which Ellen Johnson Sirleaf directed to Robert Sirleaf Foundation. Let me just put a caveat that some of the report might not be true, but by and large, reports from Liberia that has to do with financial impropriety has been confirmed to be the case. The other question that I have has to do with the level of unemployment in Liberia and the fact that most of our people now are very discouraged about the trend of this government, the manner in which the government has been administering the affairs of the country. And I'm wondering what is his take on the peaceful demonstration that is scheduled to be held on the 12th, whether Article 17 of the Constitution will be considered as opposed to the issue of threats and intimidation against civilians who have the interest of only demonstrating to register their dissatisfaction with the current situation with the government. What is his take on it? And, of course, before I rest my case, I want to find out whether he is satisfied bringing Liberia Action Party to Unity Party, up to now, there has been nothing to indicate that this government is working in the interest, of course, of the majority of the people, as opposed to those who are cronies of the government who enjoy the spoil of the society. And of course, what has been his last statement on the issue of the diplomatic gate involving the Danish journalist who pretended to be somebody, and he indicated that he has paid the Liberian government over $150,000, which of course his name was mentioned. What is his take on these issues and other national issues? What is his take on the fact that the people want to demonstrate? Does he accept the idea that people should get out and demonstrate for their right, or the government should use force against them? I will stop, and hopefully I will be allowed to follow up with some of the questions later on. Thank you for allowing me, Mr.
Go ahead, Councillor. So, yeah.
I don't know where to start from, so you got to give me some of these questions.
You got a lot. So, you know what we do?
So you ask me one by one, and I'll repeat it.
What we do, I will go back to him. We will take 2 questions from him. Each person will be allowed to give 2. If you want to make an entry, you can make another entry, and we'll recognize you. So, Mr. Leeway, I'm going to open your line. Give the councillor 2 questions for now, and then we can come back to you. Please.
Okay. Thank you. First question, which is the situation on the ground right now, is what is the take on the peaceful demonstration that is scheduled for April 12, 2013, and the threats from the government of Liberia that they will use force? And as a matter of fact, the Minister of Defense is telling the people of Liberia that military force will be used to disperse demonstrators. What is his take on that? The second question to that is, what is his view on the fact that there has been so much corruption in the country where the resources of the nation has been mortgaged to foreign investors with no benefits to the people? I think those 2 questions will be sufficient for now, and I'll wait for another time.
All right, thank you very much. Somebody else had asked about the April 12th planned protest demonstration, and I said that I wouldn't comment on it because some people in Liberia had accused me of being the sponsor of that demonstration. That accusation is not true, is nonsensical, but I thought that I shouldn't comment on it. At most, what I can say is that what I know is that the Constitution does provide the freedom of association. It does provide the right to assemble and to petition the government. I also know that there is a law in the Republic of Liberia that if you want to have a demonstration, public demonstration, the thing to do is to send a letter to the Ministry of Justice, make the request, state what you want to do and those kinds of things, and work with the Ministry of Justice so that that peaceful demonstration can be done, that demonstration can be conducted peacefully. The little that I've heard from Liberia, from the newspaper, is that those who plan to organize this demonstration have not made an application to the Ministry of Justice, and yet they insist that they will go ahead and protest. Now, as I can only speak to you as a lawyer, I believe that if somebody thinks that the law that requires one to get a permit before you can have a public demonstration is unconstitutional, then the thing to do is to challenge it in the courts and let the court declare it unconstitutional. But once it is there and standing as a law, you don't go and violate it. And you are acting as a belligerent. That's my own assessment of that. If anybody believes that the law that calls for an application designating what you want to do and where you want to do it, and then you liaise with the Ministry of Justice for it to be done properly, if that is wrong, if you think it's unconstitutional, it violates your constitutional right, then go to the Supreme Court and challenge it there. That's how it is done here. All right? So that's my comment on that. The other question you pose is that instead of an inquiry, I think you make a conclusion that Liberia has mortgaged, the government has mortgaged the resources of the country. Now, that word mortgage is not just an ordinary English dictionary word. It is a legal word. And so I'd like for you to take a look at it because the government has not mortgaged the resources of the country. All the government has done is, in my mind, to sign investment contracts with foreign investors. Liberia does not have the money, and I'll be simple. Liberia does not have the millions of dollars to be able to conduct exploration in one oil block, just one. It costs about $100 to $150 million to lease one oil rig from any of the drilling companies to take it to Liberia to drill for oil. Liberia does not have that kind of money, just to drill. And at the end of the day, you may find out what? A dry well. Liberia just doesn't have that kind of money. The only way Liberia can get a barrel of oil from under the sea is to get into contract with a foreign investor. We do not have the resources, because if you know anything about investment, while we may have the natural resources under the ground or under the water there, we do not have the technology to get it out. We do not have the capital. So in order to get the oil out, we have to get into partnership with somebody who has the technology and somebody who has the money. That's plain and simple. We have iron ore in Putu, the Putu mines like I talk about, but we do not have the technology to get that iron ore out. We do not have the money to get that iron ore out. The only way we can get it out is to what? Get into a partnership with some investor who has the technology and the money to be able to invest and get it out. So I don't think it's fair to say Liberia the government has mortgaged the resources. That's one. The social contributions that these companies are making now in this initial stage, when they are not even begun to pump 1 barrel of oil out, when they are not even begun to take out 1 ton of iron ore out, the social contributions that they are making, the signing bonuses that they are giving, I don't see anywhere where somebody can say these social contributions and signing bonuses have gone into the pockets of any particular individual. Your claim that the $10 million that Chevron paid was directed to Mr. Robert Sirleaf, Chevron itself has come out and said that's not true. Chevron says, yes, they have committed themselves to $10 million, but the government identifies the project. And when they agree with the government for that particular project, then it disburses the portion of the $10 million towards that project. So if Chevron said they are not giving the $10 million to Robert Sirleaf, how can I come and answer a question because somebody else in Liberia has speculated that money is in Robert Sirleaf's bank account or is otherwise being utilized by Robert Sirleaf's foundation? I cannot speculate like that. Because the person who is giving the money, I said, we haven't given that money to Robert Sirleaf at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Ladies and gentlemen, we have asked that you just asked 2 questions at a time because we have about 85 callers right now, and we are just about 35 minutes into the program. So we have 85 callers right now again. So that just give us 2 questions, or you can ask 2 questions, and then you can make a comeback later. But you don't have to drop the line. All you need to do is dial *61 if you have a question or if you want to make a comment. With that said, we're going to take our next call. Caller, Councillor from caller 6593. Your name and where you're calling from?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. This is Eugene Sherry calling from Trenton, New Jersey. I have few questions on mind, but the fact that we are very restricted to only 2 questions, so I think I will give the lender Councillor 2 questions.
Thank you.
Honorable Varney Sharman, how are you doing, Councillor?
I'm good, sir. How you doing, my brother?
Okay, I'm doing good. My concern has to do with because I can remember some time ago during the electoral process in Liberia, party formed a merger with another party, that which I think the name came up to, I think, Koto or something like that. And I mean, later on that we heard that your party have already formed a merger or join Unity Party. So my question now is that what has become the fate of Koto? 1, 2, and you are the chairman of Unity Party. What is your expectation? Is that are you kind of frustrated or quote unquote frustrated, or I mean I don't really know, or what because you are kind of like ceremonial head, because appointments that have been made in government, what we have been hearing is that you play no major role in appointments as a party chairman. So what really going on in the party over there? 1, 2, some time ago there was a problem between the Unity Party youth wing in America here, and there was a chairman here by the name of Faye Brown for the youth wing, and you came over here at a certain point in time, and you decided to have another party chairperson from Delaware. That's what we were told. So I mean, you care to comment on those issues? Thank you.
Yes, I care to comment on those issues. But first, I thought we were talking about democracy in Liberia and how do we sustain it. But let me tell you about Kotal. That's the 2005 arrangement. We had the Liberia Action Party that went into a coalition with the Liberia Unification Party and 2 other political parties to put out a single slate of candidates for the 2005 election. So that was a coalition. In the for the 2011 election, let me say before the 2011 election, the same Liberia Action Party and Liberia Unification Party went into a merger with the Unity Party. That's what happened. So what happened in 2005 was merely a coalition. Each of the political parties retained their identities. All right. In 2010, 2 of those political parties, that's the Liberia Unification Party and the Liberia Action Party, merged into the Unity Party. Now we have only one Unity Party. I hope I've explained that point. The other question that you asked is whether I'm satisfied, whether because to the best of your knowledge or the information you get is that I haven't been involved in the appointment of government officials. Yes, that's true. I haven't been involved with the appointment of government officials, but that should not be the issue of my satisfaction. What I should be satisfied about is that competent people are appointed to these positions and that the government is performing in keeping with our party's campaign platform, and that we are satisfied with that performance, and that we are doing good for the Republic of Liberia. That is very important because there is a symbiotic relationship between a government and a political party when the government is elected on the platform of the political party. When the government does well, the political party will benefit. If the government doesn't do well, it will hurt the political party. And we are going to a midterm election in 2014, and thereafter we're going to an election, presidential and general election in 2017. So it is important to me that the government performs well, that the people appreciate what the government is doing, because that will be good for us when it comes to 2014 midterm election. It will also be good for us when it comes to the 2017 general and presidential elections. So individuals who are appointed into offices should really not be my concern. What should be my concern? That the individuals are competent and they are performing well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you just joining us, this is Liberia Destiny Debaters, and with us tonight is Unity Party's National Chairman, Councillor H. Varney Sharman, and we are discussing Liberia's new democracy and the way forward to its sustainability. With that, I'm going to take the next call. The next call will come from 9271. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, this is George Toto. I'm calling from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Welcome to Liberia Destiny Debaters, the place for stable and public political discourse.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Moderator. And also, thanks to Councillor Sharman. How you doing, Councillor?
I'm all right, sir. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. I just have one or two concerns that I want to raise. If you can address it, that'll be good. A few weeks, let's say a month ago, we hear that when the president appointed the chairman for the National Election Commission, Councilor Jerome Kokoya, and there were accusations that were made that Councilor Kokoya is a member of the ruling party. And Councilor Kokoya, came out to denounce that he's not a member of the party, he's been done with that party since that election. But my concern was, as a chairman of the ruling party, why is it that the ruling party did not come up with any statement to kind of clear the doubt of the Liberian people? Because our people, we know how some of them think sometimes. I personally expected a statement from the ruling party to come out that, or this gentleman not part of, he was part of us, but he's not part of us again. And then my second concern I want to ask or consider is that there have been accusations in media that people are pointing fingers to you that you are one of those that playing the upcoming demonstration that everybody are talking about Liberia. So I don't know if you can address yourself to these two concerns.
All right, thank you very much. Our Secretary General issued a statement, talked about several things, but one of the things he talked about was that, yes, Jerome Kokoya was our candidate for a legislative seat for Bond County in the 2011 election. After the 2011 election in November, he lost, and sometime in January or February of 2012, he resigned from the party. Those kind of records are kept by the Secretary General, and he did talk about it in a press statement. And even urged people to go ahead and support Councilor Jerome Kokoya to be confirmed as the chairman of the Election Commission. All right? Now, as to the second question, I keep saying I hesitate to comment on it. The fact of the matter is that I'm not sponsoring any demonstration on April 12th. I have not sponsored any protest demonstration in Liberia before. Please, April 12th is not a day that I want to celebrate. Many people benefited or were victims of April 12th. I know I'm one of those victims of April 12th. And I said that on a radio interview with Liberia just yesterday. John Varney Sharman, then the young Minister of Commerce, Industry and Transportation, was one of the 13 persons who were executed on the beach by a firing squad. He was my cousin. T. Siafa Sherman, then Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Liberia, spent 2 years in Belayala because of April 12th. I'm somebody crazy who will want to celebrate April 12th by a protest demonstration, and I will sponsor it. Even if I want to protest anything, that is the day I will choose. So please, disabuse yourself of that thing. That's just political mess that people are doing in Monrovia. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Sherman. And then we'll take the next one, Councilor from 6505. Your name and where you're calling from.
We are almost gone for 1 hour of this.
Welcome to caller 6505. Your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, this is Peter Fanian calling from Atlanta, Georgia. I just wanted to follow up on two questions raised by one of the speakers. One of the questions has to do with it goes to the constitutionality of the pending April 12th demonstration. And I'm hearing from the counselor he explained his personal disposition, not as wanting to associate with that particular day. But I think the fundamental question is boils down to the constitutionality of whether or not Liberians can peacefully assemble to express their position, their views, or concerns, petition the government on issues affecting the country. And given that the counselor is a significant player in Liberian politics, and I think, to me, it seems important, and given the fact that he's a legal-minded person, I would think that he will have some kind of position on this particular issue, because this issue is rich with history, with Liberian history. We've seen what has happened in the past when people try to assemble peacefully to petition the government. We've seen in our history how such assembly have been repressed or suppressed. And it seems clear to me that the government has not even seen any wisdom in the fact to engage, the protesters or the leaders of those who are planning this particular demonstration. That's my first comment. My second comment has to do with the talk about the concession agreements that the Liberian government has entered into with numerous concession companies. I know the councillor pointed to the fact that many of these concessionaires are already contributing socially to the development of our country. They've set aside monies that can go towards social development and what have you. But again, I also want to draw the councillor back to the history of our country. That in fact we've seen these, this is not new to our history, where we've seen concession agreements of foreign investors come into our country, take away practically everything, and have left the country with nothing. Those various subdivisions, political subdivisions, where the majority of our people live, who are impoverished, they have not in any way benefited from these concession agreements. So where is the assurance in this new effort, quick effort, fast effort, to bring in foreign investors again, operating on the same kind of economic model that we've seen in previous years? I mean, I need not mention LAMCO. I need not mention Firestone. I need not mention Liberian Mining Companies, LMC, Mother River Union. I mean, the record is there to show there's no harm that our people, for whom God has endowed these resources with, there's no record there to show that they have in any way benefited.
Could you condense the comment?
So, I'll just rest my case and conclude by saying, how have we learned from the lessons of the past? Because we see similar things occurring in the country.
Look, if I may address those concerns, because you did not, you made comments and not asking a question. I've already said to you, and I would not deny, the provisions of our Constitution on the right to assemble and to petition the government and to put grievances to the government. I would not deny that, even though I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but I would not deny that those provisions are there. I will also admit that I'm aware of a law in Liberia that says that when you want to conduct a public demonstration you must put an application to the Ministry of Justice so that they can put the appropriate security structure to ensure that your demonstration will be peaceful. One, you will not disturb other people, or people who are against the demonstration will not disturb you. To the best of my knowledge, and I'm a Liberian man, I haven't lived in this country. When they have IMF or World Bank meetings in Washington, D.C., the police is out there to ensure that the protesters will not physically obstruct or the proceedings. When they've had it in Paris, same thing. The police is out there. So some way the government needs to be sure that the demonstrators are secure, those who are protesting, and the rest of the public is also secure. Now, I'm told, because I'm here in Liberia, in America, and I have been accused of sponsoring the demonstrators, and I've told you several times that that's nonsensical, that's not true. I'm told that some people say that that particular law is unconstitutional, the law that requires informing the Ministry of Justice. And I'm saying that as a lawyer, what I would have done is to do what? Challenge the constitutionality of the law in court. Not challenge the constitutionality of the law by protesting without filing an application. If you do that, then you might be considered as being belligerent, and you might not want that to be done. The good you want to do in your protest might be distorted by somebody claiming that you're being belligerent. That's the most of comments I can make on that. When it comes to these investments, I am not sure whether the commentator has read any of the agreements that were signed by the Tubman government. Whether he has read the LAMCO agreement, the Bombay agreement, the Mana River agreement, any of those, or even the Firestone agreement. I'm not sure he's read them. Now, fortunately for me, I read all of them. When I was studying at Harvard, it was one of the courses I took. The title of the course was Foreign Investment in Natural Resources. And I had to study those agreements because Liberia was one of the case studies. But I also am familiar with some of these agreements that have been signed today. I've helped to negotiate some of them. They are significantly different from what was signed before. Very, very different. While Liberia, I'll give you one example. While Liberia in the previous agreements was an equity participant, Liberia is not in these agreements. Because when you are an equity participant, what Liberia did was to waive income tax, waive everything, and look only for a share of profit in a LAMCO agreement. By doing that, and you couldn't superintend the performance of the agreement, either you did not have the capacity to do so or you neglected to do so, the foreign investor can get engaged in all kinds of business practices, transfer pricing, for example. At the end of the day, the total profit that comes in is very, very small because the marketing company is organized by them and they pay the marketing company. The shipping company is there, they pay the shipping company. And so through those various things they do transfer pricing. By the time they get to profit, the profit is very small. So when Liberia was sharing 50% of profit, on the top the guys are getting so many things from costing. If you know anything about LAMCO, like you say you did, most of the foreign expatriate employees of LAMCO were from where? From Sweden. If you remember the name of LAMCO, was what? Liberia American Swedish Mining Company. The Swedish company that was a part of that partnership is the one that took the contract to provide foreign employees for LAMCO. So they are paying extra. There was another company that did all of the sales. And which was that? Bethlehem Steel from here. Because they were part of it. That was the American thing came in. So the contracts are completely different today. Completely different. Today, they have to pay their corporate income tax. And various other taxes that they have to pay. Even for the housing that they have to provide for their employees, the design of the housing is a part of the agreement. So the agreements are completely different. That's one aspect of this thing. The other aspect of this thing is that, as I said over and over, at the end of the day, when these companies begin to produce, Ellen Sally would not be president. If she would be, it would be maybe the end of her term, the last year of her term. So it is a successor who is really going to be there to manage the revenue that will be generated from the operations of this company. Isn't that Ellen Sally? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. We take our next one from caller 3662. Your name and where you calling from?
Before you go ahead, I've already been on this for an hour.
Yes, Councillor, with just 2 hours, please.
No, that's too long for me. Please, in another 15, 30 minutes, I have to go.
You have a lot of people on the line with us tonight.
Yes, I know, but I can't be an interview for 2 hours. Even Obama is not on an interview for 2 hours.
Okay, so let's take a few more calls then. Let's go to 3662. Caller 3662. Your name and where you calling from? That's your last number. I guess that's Johnson. Professor Johnson? Professor Johnson. That's 3662, your last number. Your name and where you calling from? Yes.
Yes?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, Cora.
Okay, yes. I want to talk, I wanted to make some few remarks.
Before you do, can you tell us your name and where you're calling from, Cora?
I'm calling from Minnesota.
What's your name again?
I'm Joseph Johnson.
Welcome to Liberia Destiny Debaters.
Thank you. Concerning April 12th, I want to make a few remarks. Councilor Sherman mentioned the destruction that April 12th had caused his family, and therefore he considered it as unnecessary, useless, and wouldn't lend or extend any support to April 12th. All right?
No, that's not what I said. I have to respond to it. That's not what I said.
Okay, say what? Maybe I didn't get you clearly.
Let me say what I said. I said my family was directly affected, a victim of April 12th. If I wanted to have a demonstration, it is not April 12th I would choose. That's what I said.
Is it different from what I said?
Very different. Extremely different. You are speaking English, is very different. If I wanted, and I said that in the context of the fact that certain people in Liberia have excused me of being the person who is sponsoring this demonstration. And I'm saying that if I wanted to sponsor a demonstration, April 12th is not a day I would choose. Because I wouldn't want to celebrate a day.
So
I wouldn't want to celebrate a day.
Why you want to choose to choose it for celebration? Why?
Because I wouldn't want to celebrate a day where family members were affected.
Okay, to you now, is that day a good day?
Oh, that's why you're asking me?
But that's what I'm saying.
My English is enough. I said would not want to celebrate.
You didn't say so. I said to you, it is not necessary.
But that's not what I said. Other people want to celebrate it as their business.
Our guest, the Honorable Councillor, already answered that question.
Other people who want to celebrate it as their business. Those who are accusing me that I am sponsoring an April 12th demonstration, I am saying that those people are telling lies. If I wanted to sponsor a demonstration, I wouldn't choose April 12th as the day to sponsor that demonstration.
Professor Johnson, if that was your question, then we're going to take the next call. Professor?
No.
If you have a question, could you direct your question, please?
I have a question. And following the question, I want to make a statement.
Okay, then can you make it brief, Professor? We have a lot of people on the line. The councillor is going to be leaving us soon.
I want to tell Mr. Sharman that if April 12th is not a good day for him to celebrate, it is April 12th that even had to get him where he is. Because before April 12th, there was one-party system. And that system did not allow any other party to vie for presidency or for any position of high position. And besides that, April 12th brought to an end a group of people who mismanaged the nation, took away personal rights over a minority group, and as a result, the country was getting nowhere, and today the effect of 100 and almost and a half centuries have their effect on the country. So April 12th, when celebrated, it opened the opportunity for the majority of Liberians who were cast aside as not even being citizens. From 1847, the founding of Liberia as a sovereign state, the natives were denied the right to vote or for intermarriage.
Yeah, Professor, can you just kind of now, can you try to condense it? Let's take other place. Sorry for interrupting you. Can you just kind of condense the question or your comment, please, Professor?
And so, the party that denies the majority of the people their right, their constitutional right, their sovereign right, if it is brought down April 12th, then according to the majority of the people who were denied, they have the right to celebrate it. I think that's the reason why April 12th is meaningful. Instead of one party having a humdrum of activities in denying the rest of the people when nothing was achieved and anyone could look at as a benefit for sovereign nation, then the majority have the right to bring that party down on April 12th. And April 12th becomes significant to the majority. If it is not significant to you, then it is significant to the people who suffered under one-party rule. That's what I want to tell you.
Thank you, Professor. That was just a comment. So we're going to take our next one from caller 4528. Your name and where you're calling from. Your last number is 4528. I guess that's Talu Kwangwa. Are you there, caller? Talu? Okay. Then, of course, she doesn't want to say something. So we'll take the next one. Let's go to caller. We have, man, this line is busy tonight. Professor, Councillor, you can't believe how many people are on the line already. The line is very busy. So let's take the next one from 8310. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Dash Wilson. I call from Delaware. I have a question for the chairman of the Unity Party, please.
Go ahead. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Let's talk about this thing. When President Salif won the just in the election in Liberia, we heard that you submitted a list to her for possible employment of individuals, and we were told that the list was stretched, and that did not go down well with you. Could you care to comment, please, to give some clarification? Did you submit a list to the president?
Look, I'm concerned about the purpose of the how you call it, the interview or discussion or whatever tonight, because it seems to me nearly all of the questions have nothing to do with Liberia's democracy. But let me tell you what happened by answering your question. The Constitution of the Unity Party provides the system of relationship between the party and the government when the government is elected on the ticket of the party. And the particular provision of the Constitution is called Article 17. After the election, we set up a committee. We call it an Article 17 committee. And that Article 17 committee, the intention was to vet partisans of the party who had interest in employment, business opportunity, or whatever other thing was available from the process of governance, vet those names, the individuals and the opportunities, their capacities, and the offers that they were making, and submit it to the government for possible employment and for possible enjoyment of these facilities and opportunities. We did that. Don't take it that it was Varney Sharman who submitted a list. It wasn't Varney Sharman. Varney Sharman was not even on the committee. It was a committee that was set up. I think that committee was headed by Amola Johnson, I believe, who was formerly a Minister of Internal Affairs in the government. And they worked and put a first submission together, and that was passed over to the president. What I did in the process was their first report was to send a letter to the president submitting our first report to the president. It is a fact that the president did not take names because those are that first report was a recommendation for appointment to positions as deputy ministers, I think, because we believe as a political party that when it came to the principal positions, it should be left totally to the discretion of the president. But when it came to lower positions, that the party could make submissions to the president. Those submissions were made. But the president exercised her constitutional prerogatives and appointed whom she wanted to appoint. And I've already discussed that. I said, to me, it was not important as to the individual that was appointed to a government position. What is important to me as national chairman of the party is that that individual had the capacity to do the job, the integrity, and that he performs. On the basis of that, this moment, there is a committee of our party that is sitting down and evaluating the performance of the government in 2012, the relationship between the government and the party in 2012, to come up with a recommendation. So I'm not in a position to say this moment whether I'm satisfied or I'm not satisfied. I have to look at the report that the what they call a special review committee conducts or gives to me, because that special review committee is actually going on in there, has gone in there, and has been sitting for the last couple of months to actually investigate and study the impact of our relationship, that is the relationship between the government and the party, and the performance of the government. Let me get that report. Questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. We'll take the next one from caller 9184. That's Rebecca. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm right here. Thank you very much. Councillor, thank you. We are happy to have you. My name is Rebecca Godfrey. I'm calling from Lomas. In your opening statement, you did mention of the president being doing well, and you talked about roads are being built. So, for the benefit of some of us, could you please tell us where part of Monrovia these roads have been built? Thank you.
Let me just give you a few, all right, that's significant. This movement, first, let me put it this way. First, when she came into power, she redid the boulevard
the SKD Boulevard, which we found out that wasn't done very well. Now it is being redone to be a 4-lane boulevard that connects Todman Boulevard in Congo Town with how you call it, the freeway. You know what I'm talking about? Are you there?
Let me go to her.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm here.
It's going to be a 4-lane boulevard. Then within the same Gardensville, Painesville area, the Nizo community area, instead of going directly using Todman Boulevard and going through red light to go to Kakata, you can avoid that and you go through paved road, complete the paved road all through Painesville and go and bypass red light. You move from there, you go to, are you familiar with Carwell Road?
Yeah, I do.
All right. You go to Carwell Road. From Carwell Road, you have the 1-lane bridge. That road has been completely paved all the way to White Plains with electric light, I call it street lights. I can go on and on and on telling you about these roads that are being done. The entire central Monrovia, where we have all of the potholes, all of those roads have now been what? Resurfaced. All of those roads have been resurfaced.
When did that happen, Councillor? I'm sorry to ask such question because recently I was in Monrovia. I left January 10th, and up to the time I was there, Painesville, almost half of the quota was gone. So I don't know. You are probably talking about a red light area. Yeah. You that the road I'm talking about is a road that's built within Painesville in the community that you can take from the Gardensville Highway and take it, and you will be able to bypass red light. You'll be able to bypass red light. The government has signed an agreement so that the road will be paved from Painesville, that is going through red light, all the way to Gata. This movement survey is taking place. This movement. You probably don't know, but the Buchanan Highway that was completely dilapidated. The quota has been moved completely. By July, that road will be completely paved from Cutting Tree to Buchanan. Do you know about that?
You stay here, but I have to undo.
We will take you by your word because whatever you are saying, time will tell.
I don't have any. Look, ma'am, I don't have any reason to lie to you.
No, I'm not saying you lie, Councillor.
I don't have any reason to tell story to you.
I'm not saying you lie because the reason is let me just say something. The Kesari Boulevard was built before, but because the material they used was not good, they are rebuilding it. To me, it's a waste of resource.
I agree with you.
So I'm not saying that you are lying. You know, you can do something. If you don't do it good, that means you are not done nothing.
But I have to tell you the fact that it was paved before. I told you the job wasn't done well. They are redoing it. This time they are building the how you call it, the covers to make sure, because it's a swampy area. If you know what Kesali Boulevard it's a swampy area. They put laterite through the swamp, and they put laterite through the swamp. We all put in a waterway for the water to flow from one part of the road to the other part of the road, and so you undermine the road. All right, that road was supposed to be built, I'm told, with a 5-inch thick asphalt, and they built it, I think, with 2 or 3 inch thick asphalt. Now they are building it with 5-inch thick asphalt, and instead of 2-lane road, it's going to be a 4-lane road. But if you have been going into Monrovia over the last 7-8 years, let's say before President Saleh became president, you will see the tremendous change and you appreciate it with the roads. Maybe January was your first time going there in the last 10 years. So you wouldn't know what it was 10 years ago as compared to what it is now in January.
But I have always lived there. So I can tell you what it was 10 years ago and what it is today.
Thank you, Councillor. And then let's take the next one from quarter 8879. Your name and where you're calling from. Your last number.
My name is Arthur Nishas Johnson. I'm calling from Philadelphia. Mr. Chairman, I appreciate I've been listening to you. But sometimes I'm a quote from one of the political hero. He said, "A man's capacity makes democracy possible for justice." Based on that, I would like to ask you this hypothetical question. The United Nations representation in Liberia, we believe that it has tenure and it has duration. And I think it was never that the United Nations would perpetually stay in Monrovia until 12 years elapsed. Now, my question is, if the United Nations tenure or duration have ended or was ended, and then the president put in for extension, which of course we have been following up, who paid the United Nations troop to remain for its extension? Because we followed up when I was in Monrovia 2010, the big and most important thing that the propaganda machinery of the United Party had there, or the government, was Madam Selig make and the international community waive our debt. Which of course it was a talk about the University of Liberia campus. So from 2010 up to present, we are reading documents where Liberia had accrued $17.5 billion, that our children and children yet unborn will be paid. So it raised my eyebrow for the please comment whether, I know because $17.5 billion did not go on any development in that country. It must be the payment of the United Nations troop for Liberia, for our international money also to be building our infrastructure to be going, 55% to be going there. So where Liberia has accrued this $17.5 billion that we are reading all on the internet. So, Mr. Chairman, I offer you a quick comment on that.
I don't know what you're talking about. Liberia has not accrued any $17.5 billion debt. Not at all. What I know is that the government has always said that they had signed agreements to the value of $16.5 billion. And these are investment contracts. So honestly, I don't know what you are talking about, and so I really can't comment on it.
Thank you, Correct. Thank you, Councillor.
It is what? 9:30 now. So I'll take another two questions, and then that will be it.
Okay, Councillor, but tonight we have we have a lot of people on the line, so that's okay with us. We can honor that, Councillor. Let's take the next one. Let's take the next one from quarter 6709. Your name and where you calling from?
Thank you. My name is Blama Colley. I'm calling from Newark, New Jersey. It's a pleasure to be part of the show. Thank you, Honorable Chairman, Honorable Chairman, and Honorable Chairman. Honorable Chairman and Honorable Chairman.
Thank you,
it's great to talk to you today for the first time.
Thank you.
What a wonderful opportunity. It's unfortunate you leave us, but we know you're such a busy guy, so we do respect the time you have spent with us. But I just like to have you wrap your head around this little thing, something a little academic. I was doing a research a couple of time ago as part of our graduate program, and I was asked to talk about our maritime program, an overview. And I was shocked to realize that the Liberian maritime program had existed for over 68 years as a gift from the U.S. government, especially during the time of the Secretary of State Bill Stetner. The maritime program, as I understand, was a gift to Liberia because we did not benefit from the master plan. But I equally found during my research that we have the Port of Monrovia, we have other government parastatals, you still have our maritime program being run out of the countries. I do agree and do appreciate that our brothers over here did great to introduce this program to Liberia. But you could understand how much contribution the maritime is contributing to our gross domestic product or GNP. So what is the party? And moreover, when Ellen took power, she was very critical of the way LISCA was running our maritime program, and she said she would make sure she could institute some changes. But then she's been very quiet. What do you think the party and the government is doing to revitalize operationally our maritime program that serves our best interest? Thank you, Honorable Chairman.
Look, the only thing I can say about that is my own concern that perhaps the mechanism has not been put in place for Liberia to eventually manage the maritime program instead of having an agent to do the management. You know, throughout the program, it was managed by an agent. All right, and because if you know what the maritime program is really, is vessels, all vessels traveling the international waters have to be registered with a country. And if you register with a country, then you have to pay a fee for that registration. All right, so excuse me. So my concern is that it's been more than 50 years, more than 60 years, and up to now, Liberia has an agent managing the maritime program for us. But to the best of my knowledge, yes, President Sirleaf criticized the agreement that LISCA had with the Liberian government. But when she came into power, she had that agreement reviewed. And the changes that she thought she wanted to make and what was acceptable to the agent, they sat down and negotiated it and signed an amendment to the agreement. And on the basis of that, LISCA is managing the maritime program. What I thought you would have asked, and we ourselves are concerned about that, whether there is a mechanism in place, a process in place, where there will come a day when there will no longer be LISCA, that the maritime program will be managed by Liberia. So that's an aspiration that we have. Thank you very much.
We take our next call. The next one, maybe the final one, will be from caller 1575. Your name and where you calling from? Please,
this is Jacob 40.
Welcome to Liberia Destiny Debaters. With us tonight is the Honorable Unity Party's National Chairman, Councillor H. Varney Sharman.
Councillor, I want to personally say welcome. It's been over 10 years since we haven't met face-to-face. I'm not too sure whether you can relate the name to the face because I did work with you on your campaign in Kitmon, though I'm from Lofa. When I served as chairman of the Student Unification Party. And I know a couple of times we met in your office when I served as president of the St. Peter's Lutheran Teachers Association, and you were very helpful when we had an issue with the Lutheran Church in Liberia. So I want to personally know you and I want to say welcome, and I'm happy that I can share this time with you.
Yeah, Claude Forte, I know you very well. I remember you.
So, Councillor, I told a lot of people, I said, Councillor is a scholar. He's a lawyer, so when you want to meet him, you got to be prepared to engage the councillor. On the issue of the demonstration, you discussed it very brilliantly, which I totally agree with you. But I want to take you a step further, Councillor. I know you are concerned about, you are not against people demonstrating from the way you brilliantly explained. But what you are kind of concerned about has to do with people going to demonstrate when they have not been given the legal, they have not passed through the legal procedure in terms of getting the permit from the government. But I want to take you back to the Constitution, Article 15, precisely Article 15A and 15A that talk about the right to express or assemble, as you rightly alluded to, and that the right, such right cannot be curtailed, restricted in any shape or form. They're taking you back to Article 2 that says that any law that will be made that will be inconsistent with our Constitution, shall be considered null and void. Yes, I am one person who don't want for our law to be violated. I'm also one person who thinks that our country should be peaceful. But if people are assembling peacefully to express themselves, and the Article 15 they give them that right to do so, and Article 2 is saying that order of being inconsistent shall be considered null and void. How do we reconcile the two? That's one. And I go further on the issue of violating the law. I have indicted this government, the alien government, and you could challenge me and say you are wrong, Kekula. But this government has been in violation of this Constitution since it came to power. Article 56 of our Constitution says that paramount chief, clan chief, town chief should be elected. This government has reneged on that constitutional right, on that constitutional provision. So if this government is accusing people who want to express themselves peacefully of violating the Constitution and threatening them brutal force, but they have violated the very Constitution since they came to power, how do we reconcile that? Secondly, there's a law of approved in 1972, which I'm pretty much sure you're aware of, that says that the president, that specifies how much the president should be paid. Precisely chapter 1 of the regular law of Liberia, that says how much the president should be paid. That law has been ignored, and the president and the vice president have been paid in excess of what has been provided in the regular law of Liberia. So with all these violations of our law, and those who want to assemble to express themselves have been threatened brutal force all under the guise of violating our Constitution, how do we explain this, Councillor? As a scholar, as a law scholar, how do you reconcile these inconsistencies when those in power are doing it, when those who want to express themselves from the layman's point of view? How do we reconcile these?
You see, Kekula, for the USA, you said the councillor is a lawyer. When you come in to talk to him about law, you got to be careful. You there?
Yes, he's listening.
Anyway, look. Let me tell you something about the Constitution. Because when you are a layman, you think you understand because you have read something in the Constitution. But the Constitution is deeper than what you probably read. There's another provision of the Constitution that says that everybody has a right to trial by jury. I think you know that. But it is also stated when it comes to civil cases by law, it is stated, at least I know that about civil cases by law, that if you file a case in court, a civil case in court, and you want a trial by jury, then you have to apply to the judge. It will be granted automatically, but you have to apply to the judge. If you don't make that application to the judge that you want to exercise your right to trial by jury, within a specified time, you lose that right. The case will be tried by the judge with all the jury. Are you following me? So
he's listening, Councillor.
It is important to realize that the Constitution is not just standing by itself. Now, what I have said, as far as public protest demonstrations are concerned, and I could be wrong, because there could have been some motivations that I don't know about. But the government made a law, and it's not this government, I think it was a Toba government or some government made a law, that when you want to have a public protest demonstration, you must inform the, the Ministry of Justice in advance. You discuss with the Ministry of Justice the path that you will take, the security measures that need to be provided to ensure that the demonstration will be peaceful. You, the demonstrators, will conduct yourself peacefully, and those who are opposed to you, because all people who come to demonstrate in opposition to you, that they too will conduct themselves peacefully and they wouldn't molest you. Now, I believe that if you think that that particular law is unconstitutional, the civil, proper, and appropriate thing to do is to go to the Supreme Court and challenge the constitutionality of that law.
That's how they do it here. I don't know the title of the proposition in California that said that there will be, or how you call it, no same-sex marriage. I think so. But people in California just didn't get and say, oh, this law is unconstitutional, so we are going to marry men, we'll marry men. They took it to court. It's been in court for many years. It is just this year that the Supreme Court has listened to arguments to determine whether or not that law is constitutional or unconstitutional. But they just didn't decide, oh, the law that California passed that there will be no same-sex marriage, so we don't like it because under the Constitution, men can marry men, so they went ahead and started marrying men, women started marrying women. No, they challenged it. So I am saying that since this law is on the books, if you don't like the law, go and challenge it in court. If you don't challenge it in court while it is there, and you say, I am going to violate that law, then you might be perceived as being belligerent. And certainly, coming from war, we don't want any sector of our people being perceived as being belligerent. That's the biggest comment I can make on this April 12th planned demonstration. And I keep telling you that I hesitate to go further because I have been accused of being one of the sponsors, if I've been the sponsor of the April 12th demonstration, and that is complete nonsense. I'm not a sponsor at all. I don't stand to gain anything. I don't stand to benefit in any way. The demonstration is not doing anything that enhances whatever aspiration I have now or for tomorrow. It's worthless to me. So I have no reason to be sponsoring it. So that's what I've said about this particular demonstration. You say that the executive law states the salary of the president and the vice president since 1972. As of that time, the president's salary has been increased from time to time in violation of that executive law, the president and vice president's salaries. What you fail to realize is that the salary of the president and vice president have always been what? Increased by law. Every time the budget is prepared, it is submitted to the legislature approves it, and what? Passes a law to say this is the budget for this year. Once there is an amount in that budget for the president that's higher than the previous year, then the law for the previous year has been amended. So every time the legislature went and passed a budget that increased the president's salary, it had automatically amended the previous law. Automatic. It didn't even have to refer to it. In fact, it comes up with the final sentence of the budget law says, any law to the contrary notwithstanding. Which means you say that 1972 law is gone out of the window. There's no more law. So the legislature amended the law when it passed the budget. I hope I've explained to you well enough.
Thank you. We take our final call. Please do not make any more entrant. We take our final call from caller Duet. Harris Duet. Harris Duet, welcome to Liberia Destiny Debaters. That's 9130.
Yeah, 9130. This is Harris Duet from Phoenix, Arizona.
Welcome.
Welcome, Mr. Counselor.
Thank you. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, my question is, being a veteran lawyer in Liberia and one who will protect the rights of the people and the constitution of that country, saying the president or people, foreign people being hired to work in executive position, what is your role in that country, or what have you said about it? Like they having top governmental position being given to outsiders.
I really don't know about it. If you tell me, give me an example of those, maybe I'll be able to address it.
Do you have examples?
For reliable social regard, like the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Republic of Liberia is a foreigner.
All right, I explain that. That I know. It is called the Chief of Staff, not the Commander-in-Chief. The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia is the President of Liberia. The title of the job is the Chief of Staff. Now, and you have to look at it contextually. Let me show you. Look, we're coming out of war, and we have all of the protagonists. And the decision was that all the armies and protagonists, all of them had to be disbanded, and that a new Armed Forces of Liberia should be put in place. We needed there to find somebody who was sufficiently neutral that would supervise that process. Because it was difficult to tell who in Liberia didn't have a relationship to one of those protagonists. Like if you made him Chief of Staff, he will bring back the people into the army. And so Liberia entered this agreement with ECOWAS as a condition for us settling our problem, that we have this Chief of Staff as a foreigner for a limited period of years for us to put our army back together. Have I explained that well enough?
I guess let me go back to him and see, Dwight, did you get your message? Did the counselor answer your question?
Yeah, he answered my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dwight.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, on tomorrow's program notes, we're going to have Abraham S. Crowman, Deputy Director for Police of the Liberia National Police for Operations. Abraham S. Crowman will be our guest tomorrow. The time tomorrow will be 3 Central, 4 Eastern, and 5 Pacific. So please call in. We have a different time zone tomorrow for the program. And we'll now go to Councillor Sharman for his closing statement. Councillor Sharman?
Well, I don't really have a statement. I just want to thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to my fellow Liberians and for me to explain some of the things that are going on in our country. I'm one of those who are very, very confident that Liberia is on the correct path. We now have multi-party democracy. We've had our second election in that process, and I'm confident that we'll have the third, fourth, and we'll continue on that pattern. And by our having these elections, and every 6 years, and putting the institutions in place, I'm sure in a few years all of us will be proud of our emerging democracy. And thank you for your interest, all of you, for your interest in our country. Thank you for your service also. Good night.
Councillor, why we did not have the time to talk about your senatorial race that coming up, because we heard that you were being in a race for Piedmont. We did not have the time to talk about that. We hope that in the future we can get you on as soon as we get a time for you. And then
next time in America, I'll call you.
Okay, Councillor, ladies and gentlemen, and for our councillor and those of you who call in tonight, we would like to say thank you very much for calling in tonight. And Councillor Sharman, we say thank you very much for accepting our invitation, and we wish you good luck, Councillor.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Bye.